back in the raised bed portion of the garden. As you can see, there's a raised bed there with dirt showing. So that's what we've been working on tonight. I've got a little patch here. That bed is almost cleaned out. There's just a couple of Thai basil plants in it. That one is completely empty. Those are probably going to keep, there's 4 beds back there. You can't see them, but they're there. They're probably going to stay. We also cleaned up the cold frame where I showed you the spiders earlier. And so it's morning, 9 something. We're outside checking out the garden and everything is absolutely dripping wet with dew, which is cool. Those are my little Thai chili peppers. They're so tiny this year. I don't even know what we're gonna do with them. They're cute though. Teddy is helping me check these beds. I think we're still struggling with them being, what do they call it, hydrophobic? They're not absorbing the water. How's it going, buddy? Good. Is it wet underneath? No. No. So we're just trying to water them like a few times a day. And you can see the lines on this bed. That's because I was using jet mode like this. So it kind of stirs up the top few layers. And we're just gonna keep doing that until the beds decide to stay wet. And staying wet on the top, but it's just not soaking in. So we'll, this is an issue with this soil and I need to get something else in there. I'm planning to do a cover crop this winter and hoping adding a whole bunch of organic materials, more organic materials will help, but we'll see. So yeah, you might wonder why this happens with the dirt. And this never happens with our native soil, but it does happen sometimes with native soil, other places. It's probably the peat moss. I don't even know. But it happens with all of our soils we use in the raised beds that we purchase. So my 4 raised beds up here. Does that work? Okay, just keep flipping it over. We're just gonna start stirring it up. Teddy's gonna help me stir it a little bit, which will help a lot, some. So the we have some raised beds that we filled with dirt that came out of our field from a driveway project, and that is not doing this. It holds water, it does fine. Like it's normal, it just gets wet when you water it, but this stuff doesn't. And it's usually fine in the spring when we're getting rain regularly, but it doesn't matter if I water this every day. It still gets like this. But the plants somehow live, so I'm not really sure what's going on. Let me show you. All right, so you can see that that is kind of dry, probably. I think you can see it. That's dry there. Over here on the top by that milk jug lid, it is wet. Teddy is digging, and we have to get this to accept water because otherwise we won't be able to plant in it, especially something like carrots, which is what I like to plant. We can't plant small carrot seeds and then like excessively water, or it will displace the seeds. I'm starting to be able to see where he's digging. There's layers. You can see like wood shavings in there, and other I can see some like rabbit manure bits and things that for whatever reason haven't broken down, but that could be why the plants were okay. If there's only like maybe 6 inches of this newer raised bed soil that I got at Costco on the top, and that's what's really dry. And then when you get down underneath, it's other stuff that I added and soil amendments. So what I'm planning to do is top all these beds with the native soil we have. The main issue with that is that soil has rocks, like so many rocks, and I will never be able to pick out all the rocks. And by not being able to pick out all the rocks, we run into the issue of not being able to grow carrots in the beds because the carrots hit a rock and then they have issues. Hey Teddy, it looks like you're about to hit a stick. Is that a stick? Don't dig up the stick, okay? The bottoms of these beds were filled with sticks and logs and stuff, and it looks like he's getting down to that. That's the other thing, is this bed is been here 2 years and we filled it all the way up over. Yeah, leave it there, buddy. We want it down in the bed to break down. Anyway, we we filled it up over the top, like mounded on top twice now, and it breaks down this much, which I'm hoping is all the organic matter and sticks and logs and poop and everything we put in the bottom breaking down and making better soil. But maybe storing them is good. I don't even know. When you have short person labor to experiment for you, this helps. Is it wet down there yet? No, not really. There's some different colors
now. I
now.
found an ant colony.
Oh, an ant colony. Okay, I gotta go back to watering. Anyway, so I'm still watering. It's probably loud, but I'm sure that someone could explain to me why this is happening exactly in science and all that. But I just know from experience that, dude, stop hitting the dirt. Teddy's beating the bed with a shovel. I know that it just happens, and that there are things I can do to help keep it from happening, and watering regularly is one of them. And when I get behind, it gets really bad, and then I have to do this. I think I mentioned earlier that it did rain, not last night, but the night before, and it did absolutely nothing for this. So if I keep it watered like this and kind of stir it up a bit, which I'm usually all for minimal soil disturbance, but these are raised beds, it's not going to help at this point. I don't have enough wildlife in them. There's no worms in here or anything like that, which is probably contributing to my issues. I have lots of worms and things crawling around in the garden. The beds are harder for stuff like that because they get in and can't get out, and they things that like decomposers. And we did have like a lot of roly-polies in these beds, and they were actually so bad that they were eating everything. But now there's not very many. Not sure why. Anyway, I did try to get rid of them at one point, but it wasn't working, so I'm really not sure why they're gone. Something ate them or what. But here. You're doing a good job, bud. Anyway, we're just stirring it up, trying to speed this up because we really need to plant some fall stuff. And you can't just plant carrots in rocks. I think I mentioned that already. Or radishes even, for that matter. They don't do great in our soil. They do okay, but not great. My brain is just stopped, so guess I'll come back later. All right, we're back over to the cold frame, which I don't know that I showed you guys the entire thing. I was cleaning out the kale yesterday and showing you the spiders. So this lid comes down. I do need to patch up the holes right here, so this should be all, this was like a plexiglass type stuff, and it's been a few years, it's got broken. The top here is just greenhouse plastic, and so I need to patch the sides with the greenhouse plastic, and you can hear the pigs, they're mad because it's time to be fed. Anyway, so this is cleaned out and watered, and it actually looks like it's holding water, the soil, a lot better than the other bed. I was just about to bend down and check on it when I saw this lady guy. I'm not sure. I'm sure there's a way to tell if it's a boy or girl besides when it gets a egg sac. But she remade the web. It looks like it is connected only to the cold frame now. It was connected to my kale plants, which is why I messed it up yesterday. This one over here, I did not have to disturb, but I like that they're here. I'm just gonna keep watering it, and eventually this works. Anger of the spiders. All right, I'm back again. I've been with my spider friends. There's one there and one, oh, there he is up there. Ooh, can't point, right there. Anyway, back at the cold frame. I've been watering this for a few days. This is just something dead-ish. I'm gonna get that out of there. Anyway, I'm going to be planting some lettuce. This is the lettuce I'm using. It's Rocky Top salad mix from Baker Creek. It's one of my favorite mixes, and we'll see how it does. The soil water issue seems to be getting better. It's rained a little bit more, and I've been watering it. That's just light over there, that's not dry, but I've been watering it every day, twice a day. They just absolutely soaking it, and it seems to be helping. Okay, this looks like dirt now, but I put these tags, not that one, these tags, and these are marking my Rocky Top lettuce. Then I put some regular, just black-seeded Simpson lettuce in here. You can see the seeds. I don't really cover them. I just kind of leave the lettuce seeds on the surface. And then over here, I did spinach in a couple rows, and those are marking where I stopped so that I can come back later and plant the other half of this bed. I haven't quite decided what I'm gonna do, but I just have this collection of old tags that say other things on them. And I just kind of use them to mark what I'm doing. Okay, now we're back on the other side of the garden by the raised beds and this one. So what I'm going to do with these is I usually plant carrots and radishes together because the radishes grow fast and shade out the weeds while, okay, I have to get the sun out of my eyes. Anyway, the radishes grow fast and shade out the weeds while the carrots are germinating and growing, and then the carrots eventually get taller than the radishes. I think what I'm going to do this time is try some like collard greens and mustard greens and things like that with the carrots. And these things can handle frost, especially a light frost. So it'll be okay if they don't mature before the first frost. I've actually had carrots here that I harvested in December because the roots are underground and the leaves will freeze if it gets down to like in the teens. But they will either grow back or the carrots will be fine underground. So, and the carrots actually get sweeter after the weather gets colder. I'll show you real quick too. My beans are doing really good. My fall planted bush beans. You can see the purple flowers down there. Those ones have tiny beans. These just started blooming today. These are yellow wax beans. And then that row there, which I see this looks like one giant row, but it's actually two. And there's really not room between them, but here we are. The other row is top crop, maybe some kind of really fast, high producing green bean, because we need a lot more beans before winter. And then we've got a section of beans over there too, and one behind the garden. So we'll see how they do. They should all mature by the end of September, first week in October. They would not want to be frozen by our first frost, but we have till probably mid-October for that. Alright, so this whole bed is now planted. I sprinkled carrot seeds in circles. So I've got one variety, then another variety, and then another variety in the middle. And then the middle is also seeded with Swiss chard. And then the whole outside rim is also seeded with collard greens. So you'll have to check back to see how this does. My main concern about it is that we might not have great germination rates on any of it, but because the carrot seeds are a couple years old, and so I did extra on those, and the collards I got from a deal where they were free. So some of those free seeds have done really well and some of them have not. But I'm gonna take a little break and come back and do this bed. Well, I'm really behind on editing videos, so I thought I would show you what happened after our first hard freeze in the garden, especially with the stuff I was just showing you that I was planting, the lettuce and carrots and whatnot. Let me see. Okay, so this is one of my raised beds. This was beautiful lettuce and so is that. And these are our carrots. There's some weeds in here too, which are a little bit easier to see now. But some of the carrots have died and they've lost some leaves, but these are still alive basically. The lettuce, it got down to 19 and 19, 20-ish, 3 nights in a row. So most of this that was outside it's mushy and dead. There's a few that, if given some warmer weather, there's also some bugs in here. That's not cool. Anyway, dead. Mustard greens in this bed, also dead. Swiss chard, toast. I really thought those things would last a little bit better. There's a few carrots in this bed that survived. These are weeds. This is dead nettle. There's a carrot. That's a weed. But then all the other carrots in here, there's radish. They were smaller than the carrots in the other bed, and they didn't make it through that freeze. Okay, here's all our other dead everything. Basil, peppers. Our rosemary here, one variety of rosemary made it, and the other 2 died. Comfrey's looking a little rough, but it will come back. Not a big deal. It was just kind of a sudden and hard freeze. It killed everything I had out here, which was peas, which in the springtime I have temperatures down in the low 20s and the peas are fine, but this plant died. There was dill here and it is dead. There were a few radishes and they are hanging in there, right there. And all the mustard greens, which I had those live all winter before, and they died. So dandelions are fine. But anyway, here we are in the cold frame. Same lettuce that was outside. This one is a little flat looking because I just watered it. This is the same lettuce that was in those other beds that all died, and because it was in here, it's completely fine. And it's even fine after I left the lid closed on this thing for days and forgot to water it because I thought it had all died because the other lettuce died. But anyway, the only other thing that seemed to survive that freeze, besides the usual herbs, sage, oregano, that's fine. If I had any thyme, it would be fine, but I don't. My thyme died in the summer. It's the celery. Let me get over here past all this stuff I need to clean out. This green in here is our celery that is all still alive. I bet we still have parsley too. These are our 4 raised beds I talked about in the previous video. And here, this is all parsley, which it does have a little bit of damage, like on the very top, but it is fine. There's one there, there's one there, there's several more over here. And I couldn't even see all this parsley before this freeze because the other plants were so big, but now you can. It's got a lot of new growth, and we're gonna be warm for a while, so I might even be able to harvest some more parsley here in a bit. All right, so that's all for today. You can see what happens in the garden at the end of the year. I have another video coming up with all of our harvesting that we did in October. We thought we were gonna have a freeze early in October and then didn't. So it kind of trickles on through the whole month. And then soon I will be doing a cleanup and restart video. We're going to have a lot of work to do in here over the winter to prep for spring. I want spring to be easy, so I'm going to put all the work in over the winter.